What's up, summoners, and welcome to Protatomonster's first impressions on the new range AD addition to League of Legends Draven, the Glorious Executioner. Some strengths include his ability to chase and deal heavy damage granted he catches his spinning axes, and the fact that he's a global ultimate gives him some power over what happens in the map despite not being there. It also has great kill potential for those foes who think they've escaped. In our first clip, we see Draven hanging around his turret as a Dark Binding goes down on Blitzcrank and he inches closer, but he gets gripped in and knocked up. Thanks to Sona's stun, he quickly flashes out, turning to get on Fizz, but when he gets out of range, Draven switches onto Irelia for the kill and then Fizz for the double. Now we get to see the power of his chasing abilities as he lands a Q on Blitzcrank for the triple, dealing massive damage and refreshing his W as he pops that, and then he hits Nautilus after he flashes, allowing for the pattern to continue. The catch on Spinning Axe grants a refresh on his Blood Rush, which really helps him to chase down enemies that might have movement speed advantages. Thanks to the cooldown reset on his catch, he gets himself a nice pentakill. Our next clip showcases the power of Whirling Death, Draven's global ultimate. Having a global ultimate of any kind allows for some sort of presence in any event that happens throughout the game, and we can see here how it can be used to pick up Baron while sitting in the base. Global ultimates can turn the tides of any game, and it's a huge advantage and strength of any character who possesses one. Similar to the last clip, we see an ultimate get launched out from bottom after seeing Wukong around the red buff area, and only Blitzcrank and Draven are alive, as it catches Darius doing red, picking up the kill and giving him red buff for bottom lane. For this clip, we have a funny 3v3 comp who picked off Orianna in the brush with Hawkshot, and then all of a sudden an Ashe arrow is launched, landing and followed by Whirling Death, and then finishing it off with True Shot Barrage. Sick. Unfortunately, we were unable to get a lot of footage of his weaknesses, so we talked to some of the top players and played him a whole bunch, and have narrowed it down to 3 topics we can talk about while we have some footage play in the background. One of the main weaknesses we've noticed while playing him is that if you miss catching a Q, then your mobility and damage suffer tremendously. Not only does your Spinning Axe apply the passive damage over time, but it also resets the cooldown on his W, which helps his damage and mobility a lot. If you fail to catch it, then it's going to be hard to compete against some of the other ADs like Graves. In this clip, we see Wukong emerge from the jungle and jump on the Draven, dealing heavy damage as he misses the catch, and without that up, he's left to auto-attack for damage, and as you can see, it's nowhere near good enough despite being 4-1. And the last 2 weaknesses we listed go hand in hand because we feel he can be countered easily because of the fact that he has no hard CC or escape. If you look at some of the other AD range, Graves has a dash, Ezreal Arcane Shift, Ashe an arrow, Corki a jump, and so on. If we had to compare him to any champions in regards to escape, he's more like a Kog'Maw, which means that assassin champs like Akali counter him hard without a good team to protect him. The only form of CC he has is stand aside, and it can make a difference in escaping, but it just isn't as dependable as an arrow to the face or Arcane Shift. So be careful when you pick him in ranked, and be sure that your team has your back if you're going to pick him early on, because you should expect to see a high burst assassin to counter you. Also, as an added caution, we warn you to be careful where his Q leads you to. I've seen his Q lure him too close to the enemy team, which allowed them to initiate onto him, and it cost him the game. Also, pay attention to who you're versing, because if they're skill shot based like Ezreal, then they will also be able to see where his Spinning Axe will land, and they will use this to pre-shoot skill shots. Just pay attention so that you don't give them free hits, or even worse, a pull by Blitzcrank. As an overall champion, I'd say he's really strong if you can catch his Qs and slightly below average if you miss them. He has a high skill cap, and for the majority of players that can be a weakness, so practice and practice some more to unleash his potential. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this could help if you were on the fence about getting him, and as always, have a great week.